So let's say that you are at the point where you say, okay, I want to know what my calling is. Where do I start? The place to start, and remember, there's an overlap between the awesome truth of who you are and the awful truth of brokenness in the world. Just remember that in that awesome truth of who you are, the key element is your life story. You have to pay attention to how you got to where you are today. Now, when I talk about life story, I'm talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the wondrous. I'm talking about the people that influenced you, positive people who influenced you. And you know, there are people in your life who really made you who you are, and maybe your calling is emulating theirs. Or maybe they spoke something into your life. These people were positive and they gave you a picture of what you could be. Maybe that's where your calling has come from. On the other hand, even people that have hurt us, have been painful in our life, can point to a calling, because maybe your calling is to correct the pain that they have inflicted on the world. Maybe your calling comes from, when I'm talking about your life story, is the circumstances that maybe really powerful, wonderful circumstances where you've seen in the world in need, and you've decided, I'm going to give myself to that. Maybe it was a mission trip somewhere. Maybe it was meeting someone on the street. Maybe that was how the change or your calling came about. Or maybe it's a negative aspect of your life, pain you've gone through. So many people have experienced levels of pain, and what they've determined is, because they have a peculiar understanding of that level of pain, their calling is to the comfort that they've received in that pain, they want to deliver to other people who've experienced that pain. This is how your life story shapes your calling. Passions emerge from your own life story. The question is, when you look at your life, what do you see, who has influenced you positively or negatively? What circumstances, what seasons of your life? Pay attention to that. And most of the people I have worked with, somewhere along the way, they discover their calling comes from their life story. Here's an example. My daughter-in-law, Olivia, was on a trip to Africa. And when she was on that trip to Africa, she experienced something that was deeply disturbing to her. She experienced, they were offered a meal, and the family took the goat that was in the front yard and slaughtered the goat to give them for a meal. It was a very gracious thing to do, and Olivia understands that. But it had a profoundly emotional response to it, and realized how much she cared for animals, how much she cared for the welfare of animals. So today, she and my son actually have a rescue farm for animals. They decided, this was their choice, to become vegetarians and make sure they rescue chickens and pigs. It came from a life experience one time in Africa that profoundly shaped her. Here's another story. My friend Gerald was a drug manufacturer representative, and he was over the Midwest. He had a lot of people working for him. But one day over lunch, he told me, you know, the passion I have in my life, Gerald said, was old people. And he said, here's my story. My mom and dad died when I was young, and so I was raised by my grandparents. And my great-grandparents essentially became my grandparents, and my grandparents became my parents. I've been around old people my whole life, and I have a deep, passionate love for old people. I think I need to do something to serve old people. So he launched an organization that would go into nursing homes and hold the hands of people and hear their story and talk to them and love on them. One day over lunch, he said, I got to go one step further. He said, I think my calling to old people, I'm going to leave the pharmaceutical industry, very lucrative, he's doing very well, and I want to become a director of a nursing home. So he went back, got retrained, became the director of a nursing home. He did that for a period of time, and just recently decided, I want to go one step further. I want to be a spokesperson for loneliness among seniors in America. So he speaks all over the country now, representing senior adults who are struggling with isolation. It came from his life story. Your calling comes from your life story. So once again, let me remind you, you were built to count. No matter how old you are, how young you are, where you've come from, your life story, every single one of you that are listening to me right now, you were built to count in ways that are unique in this world, unlike anyone else. just in the way that water runs downhill, you've got a destiny that is there for you. And it is not something you have to wait to happen to you. As a matter of fact, don't wait for it to just happen to you. Look for it. Ask for it. Explore your life story. Ask questions about what moves you. Where does my passion lie? What gifts have I been given that I can actually use in this world that contributes and change people's lives? This could be the biggest adventure of your life. Start climbing the second mountain. Find your calling and contribute to others in a way that changes their lives and leaves a legacy in yours.